So Gary Vee has tweeted that graded trading cards are going to have a wild explosion, specifically naming Pokemon cards. I agree that another price climb is coming in 2021, and in today's video I'm going to talk about what this price increase could look like off the back of Gary Vee's tweet and how the Pokemon market will be affected. If you stick around until the end of this video, I'm also going to tell you how not to get banned and how not to lose money like so many did listening to Gary Vee with starter Pokemon and the Pikachu card in 2020. So let's get ready, shreddy, and go straight into today's video. Are you ready for shreddy? So last year, Gary Vee began pushing Pokemon content. It's not the first time he mentioned Pokemon, but was definitely the most attention his Pokemon posts have ever gotten. It started with the post of a PSA 10 first edition base set Mewtwo card shortly after we saw the already climbing prices begin to climb even further. This went to the moon when Logan came into the hobby following advice from Gary Vee, which he stated is the reason he began investing in his Pokemon video last year. Well, jump forward to 2021, January, and Gary Vee is tweeting about Pokemon again. The tweet specifically said, sports cards and Pokemon, etc. graded cards are about to have a wild explosion. Most think they missed it, it hasn't even started. So this is a massive claim to make, and as you can see, I actually replied back and I haven't got a response from him saying, based on what analysis is this going to explode? Obviously it would have been good if he or even one of his followers came back with their opinion, so I could have talked about it, but I'm going to give you my breakdown in this video about why I think that Gary Vee is right and we are going to see prices explode this year, but I'm also going to give you a warning about why you shouldn't blindly follow Gary Vee's advice based on the people that got banned from following his advice last year. So such a small tweet will have a massive impact on the prices of Pokemon cards in 2021, likely making them climb in numbers that we've never seen before. So why are prices going to climb? Well, whether you like it or not, Gary Vee is very influential. Look, I'm just like all of you, a collector. I've been collecting Pokemon cards since I was like 8 years old, all the way back from 1999. So I can hear the groans already. And these groans I can hear coming from two different groups of people. One group are thinking, great, cards are going to get too expensive again to collect. And the other group are thinking, Gary Vee won't affect prices, STFU with your stupid thumbnails, dumb YouTuber. Well, Gary Vee has already had a major impact on the sports card market. He's been hyping specific cards and hyping the hobby in general. Now, any one person trying to hype the cards would usually be laughed at, or ridiculed, or insulted, such as collectible gurus on Instagram. Now, I'm going to be honest, I had heard of Gary Vee before Pokemon, but to be honest, I'm not a Gary Vee follower. The little bits of his content I have seen, he's a guy that doesn't resonate with me. I think he comes across as very overpowering and a little bit annoying, and I just don't think I'm his target market. However, as a marketer myself, I do understand that there is a huge audience out there who do follow Gary Vee and look at him as, you know, they're not just fans, they're advocates of his, and they do look at him as more than just a content creator, more than just a businessman, more than just a personality. But there's a group of people out there who genuinely look at him as a life mentor and will blindly listen to what he says. These are, from what I can gather, kind of mid to late teens and early 20-somethings. So while me and maybe you personally don't follow Gary Vee and don't listen to what he says, we can't disregard that he is very influential amongst impressionable youngsters. If Gary Vee is going to be pushing Pokemon card content, then whether you like it or not, prices are going to climb. His followers are going to jump in now, thinking that they're getting him before the hype. And these people, you know, it doesn't matter if they're Pokemon fans or not. They might not be able to name a single Pokemon outside of Pikachu. They might not have ever bought a Pokemon card in their life or played a Pokemon game. It doesn't really matter. If they think there's money to be made and there's an opportunity there, they're going to jump in based on his advice. This increases the demand, and as the demand goes up, the supply stays the same, because we're talking vintage Pokemon cards here, no longer in print, no longer in production. That means supply stays the same, demand goes up, and therefore prices go up. There's more people wanting the same set number of cards. But Gary Vee's influence is more than just normal people like me and like you watching. Gary Vee's influence also reaches those of celebrities, sports stars, people with huge influences and huge following numbers of their own, and people with a lot of money. I mean, he's already pushing sports cards to legit, professional, modern sports stars. It was also Gary Vee that got Logan Paul into investing in Pokemon cards, which Logan Paul mentioned in his first Pokemon card video that he put up, which was like October the 4th, I think. Look at that and pretend like I don't know the date as if I didn't research before this video. So even before Logan Paul entered the Pokemon market, loads of people on Facebook and loads of people on Instagram were already talking about Gary Vee's involvement in Pokemon. And from what I could see, I think there was a lot of people in denial, just refusing that Gary Vee would affect the prices whatsoever. Oh, who's Gary Vee? What does he know? He doesn't even like Pokemon, is the kind of things I was reading. And they were just in denial that his involvement or his influence was having any effect on the market, which it was. And it wasn't just people like me and you seeing this content from Gary Vee and those being in denial about it. It was people with a much larger influence than what me and you have. These sports stars, like I've already mentioned, that follow Gary Vee, that, you know, are very influenced by what he says, what he advises. These were the kind of people that Gary Vee's messaging was reaching, and as such, these people, like Logan Paul, I'm going to keep going back to him because he's probably the biggest thing to happen in the Pokemon card space in a long time. So I'm going to keep using him as an example. But when these kinds of celebrities do get into the hobby because of Gary Vee, and purely for them, it's to make money, it's as investors, they push this out to their followers listen to them because, again, these guys are influencers and their followers will listen to what they say, whether they're a sports star or nothing or finances. If they're posting, say, I'm buying Pokemon cards, it's making me money, their hundreds of thousands or millions of followers are going to think, or at least a small percentage of those followers are going to think, oh, well, that's my favourite basketball player, he's making money doing it, so can I, and they're going to jump in on it as well. As more people get into the hobby, the demand is climbing. That supply of vintage is never going up. So as the demand is going up, the prices are going up. The higher the demand, the more competition there is to buy the same set of cards.
So just like we can see on screen now, this is PokemonPrice.com, and this is prices of, I've got a couple of cards loaded up in different tabs, and it's shown the prices from just before Logan Paul got into making YouTube videos on Pokemon to just after. And this one we're looking at here is a first edition Blastoise. And all the PSA grades are there. So 10 is at the top, then we've got 9s, we've got 8s. But you can see, okay, so Logan Paul's first video went up on October the 4th. So you can see here September prices, and there's always going to be a bigger jump on the 10s because they come up for sale less often. But especially if we look at the 9s and below, you can see prices were here, like kind of in line across the board. PSA 8, 2,250. And then 2,100's actually dropped in price a little bit on the PSA 8. The PSA 9's there. And PSA 6s, 7s, all along here. But then you can see, come this October time, so just before October, when Logan Paul had already announced on Instagram he was going to be making the videos, we saw some spike. But then after his video went live, so we're looking at the 10th of October, I think he did a video on the 4th, the 10th, and the 14th it was. You can see these prices were climbing all across the board pretty much, all the way through until kind of the end of October, when we saw a tail off and people losing interest. But we saw a huge spike on top of what we were already seeing in 2020 because of Logan Paul. And here we've got a Charizard base set first edition, very similar again. Price increase in that October. Towards the end of the month in November, it died off. We can see here the Mewtwo. Similar kind of story again, especially around that early to mid October is when we saw things spike and climb, and then a gradual decline, kind of what they were to before. And even the base set Charizard, it's not actually the first edition, this is just the Unlimited. But you can see here, let's zoom out to try and get the date. It's not actually showing the month, there we go. So these are harder to see because, but we're in the month of October here, and it's harder to see just because there's so much data on this grid. But you can see the prices here, which was September, then we hit October here, and you can see even if you just follow the red line, you can see how that's going up and is higher here in that mid-October region than what it was before.
So we've already seen what this effect has had on the market. Gary Vee's influence directly led to Logan Paul getting involved, which led to these huge increases, and then obviously the drop-offs when people were kind of losing interest a little bit at that point. Now, a lot of people probably thought Pokemon is dead, the market has crashed, and I disagree with this. And you might be surprised because of some of the posts I've maybe made on Instagram, if you follow me there, or the videos I've made about what happens if or when the Pokemon market crashes. But we've not actually seen a crash in Pokemon. All we've seen is a dip and a retrace from what was already a massively grown market. Logan Paul spiked them crazy on top of what we already had, and then the price have kind of dropped to around what the levels were before he got involved. Maybe in some cases a little bit less. This is something I also want to touch on, and something that I've said multiple times on my channel, on videos I've appeared on other people's channels. Be very careful when listening to advice, me included. Do not listen to what I'm saying in this video and take it as gospel. Be very careful when you are listening and taking advice from anyone, especially Pokemon retailers, people who make a living buying and selling and trading Pokemon cards, because I've heard from so many of these guys the phrase Pokemon never goes down. And I've just showed you there, Pokemon goes up, Pokemon comes down. And it's just something that you need to be careful of, because people, the phrase Pokemon never goes down, to me, sounds like it only ever goes up in price, when we've actually seen prices go up and come down. I've literally just showed you it right there. Now, long term, I think that Pokemon card prices will be a lot higher than what they are now. And when I say long term, I'm talking 10, 15, 20 years plus, that the prices are going to make what price of today look cheap. Just like how prices today in 2020, 2021 make prices of 2010 and 2011 look cheap, because in comparison, the prices now are crazy compared to what they were 10 years ago. To get to the prices, or what I expect prices to be like in 10, in 20 years time, along the way we're going to see ups, we're going to see downs. We might see periods where we have a lull for a long time, we might see periods where the prices are high for a long time, but along that way we're always going to see ups and downs. I think the eventual trajectory for the prices will be that long-term growth, and the cards will be higher value long-term, but there's always going to be those ups and downs along the way. So Gary Vee is already predicting that the next price increase is about to happen, and what we've already seen, he predicts, is nothing compared to what we're going to see. And as daft as it sounds, literally all it needs is for Gary Vee to push this out to a small group of influencers and a small group of celebrities to then push out to their followers, and just like that, as easy as that, we have a massive price hike and a massive price spike on the way. Just like we saw with Logan Paul, it could easily happen again if more celebrities and more influencers get in on the mix, especially, if Gary Vee has been giving them that advice. It creates that snowball effect again. These celebrities jump in, push it out to their followers of Gary Vee start jumping in. The more mainstream media Pokemon cards get, the more coverage we get of X-celebrity or X-musician or rapper or actor has bought this card for a new record price. The more mainstream media we get about cards going for insane prices, the more the general public kind of think, oh, there's money to be made just by buying and selling Pokemon cards, I'm going to jump in. But by that point, it's probably already too late, potentially. These people FOMO in, thinking, I need to buy in, I need to get in on this craze. A lot of people come in all at once, the prices spike up even more, it causes more people to FOMO in, so again, that demand's rising, the prices are going to keep rising, and then the more people jumping in, the more that demand's going up, the more the prices are going to rise. Because these vintage cards, yes, while there's still boxes being found and boxes that people have in storage and they want to sell, these aren't being printed anymore. So all that's out there is what's out there in circulation, what collectors have. It's not like we're going to come across 1,000 new boxes being printed, because they just don't get printed anymore. So while you might write Gary Vee off as someone that doesn't belong in Pokemon, he's a celebrity, what does he know about Pokemon, he's not even a Pokemon fan, honestly, it doesn't matter. The attitude that, anyone shouldn't be allowed to enter a hobby, whether it's Pokemon cards or anything else, to me is ridiculous. Everyone can do, they can spend their money on whatever they want, they can buy whatever they want, as long as what he's doing isn't illegal or harming anyone. Why should I, or why should you, just as normal people, care about a celebrity getting into the market? And that seems ironic considering I'm making this video about it, but but I'm making this video talking about the price effect of it. If your concern is that these celebrities jumping in are going to make Pokemon too expensive for you, then chances are you've been collecting a lot longer than these celebrities. Why have you not bought the cards you've already wanted? Chances are they were too expensive for you 5 years ago, 10 years ago, or you had the money but you just didn't justify the spending. So don't start kind of blaming that because the prices are now too high when you've had plenty of chance to buy these cards. But if you do disagree with my opinion, then please by all means let me know down in the comments below. Maybe we can talk about it. Just because we disagree doesn't mean we have to dislike each other. We can disagree and debate it down in the comments. And if you agree with me, then also let me know down in the comments. Maybe even push that thumbs up button while you're there. So I also said I'm going to tell you how not to get banned and how not to lose money, like so many people did last year, blindly listening to Gary Vee's advice. So while I do agree with him and kind of think that the Pokemon prices in the Pokemon market will increase again, I am not saying that his advice or the content he puts out there is any good whatsoever. Case in point, what I'm about to talk about now, people losing money last year buying Squirtles, Bulbasaurs, Charmanders, Pikachus, first edition base set, PSA 9, PSA 10s, being banned by buying these popular Pokemon, spending a lot of money on these cards that, if you look at the pop reports, there's literally hundreds of. They didn't justify these prices whatsoever. The prices just went absolutely insane. Oh, and guess what? The prices came back down because Gary Vee was telling people to go and buy the popular Pokemon. Well, who are the popular Pokemon? Everybody knows the starter Pokemon. Everybody knows Pikachu. Oh, everybody remembers Charizard. It was the main card 20 years ago when we were kids on the playground. So if you're a casual person who's never a casual Pokemon fan or someone who's never really been interested in Pokemon, chances are, just because of mainstream coverage, mainstream media, you know who these select few Pokemon are. Gary Vee's pushing, the names of these Pokemon. He loved talking about red cheeks and yellow cheeks Pikachus. Casual people hear that, they don't do too much research, they jump in, they buy these popular Pokemon, and because they're popular and because the cards are old, they assume, oh, these cards are rare. But a lot of people jump in, they start outbidding on each other because normal collectors have some of these cards available, but they're not flooding the market with, their cards. But as a load of, demand comes into the market, that increases the price. People start to FOMO in, the prices rise even more. Then all of a sudden, normal collectors, long-time collectors, people who are knowledgeable about the hobby think, I ain't paying those prices. So all of these investors or flippers or these new people who are getting into the hobby are now stuck with these cards. When they come to sell them, they're not fetching those prices, or if they are selling, they're going for less money. People then start to FOMO and want to, protect their investment and want to not lose money. So that they then start to list their cards for sale because they see the price is already dropping a little bit. The more cards that they are at one time that hit the market, the more buying power buyers have. Because if there's only one card out there, and if it genuinely is rare, you don't have much bargaining power. Whereas if there's hundreds of these PSA 9, PSA 10 starter Pokemon cards out there, then a couple of them start hitting the market all at once because people are panic selling and want to get rid of them. If the market is then flooded with, a load of these cards, the prices are going to go down. The more that prices go down, the more that these flippers, these investors, these casuals get in on, wanting to get their money back and not lose money. They then start selling them and the price just kind of goes down and down and down, and people got banned based on what I think was really bad advice from Gary Vee last year. It even happened with Charizard. Base set PSA 9 went absolutely insane last year.
So here again we can see, it is quite hard to see on this graph to be fair, but you can see the prices of, PSA 9 Charizards, $3,850 on like the 8th of October. That actually went up to $13,000. $5,500, $8,000, and if we look to what are we in now, it's like January 2021. What they're selling for now, couple of sales there, just under $2,000, just over $2,000, just under $2,000, $2,000. One spike there, probably a fake or a shill bid, shill sale, just over $2,000. So imagine jumping in that, you know, that October point, and then being, yeah, having them cards now, 7,000. But it looks like 5 to 7,000 was like a regular price. That one there was probably an anomaly, but it looks like anywhere between 5 and 7 was kind of like the going price. In case in point, high population cards. There we go, PSA 9, 5,000 of them, and yeah, people got bent.
So with that being said, do not blindly follow Gary Vee's advice,
and simply head over to PokemonPrice.com. You can see, you just type in any card and it gives you the population reports. So if this Pikachu first edition Yellow Cheeks, there's 353 graded PSA 10, 414 PSA 9, and so on. You can literally come here, type in any card into the search bar and get this data. So if Gary Vee, or anyone for that matter, is pushing certain cards as being, oh, you need to buy this one, you need to buy this one, use your common sense, and if there's a load of those cards out there, compare it to those cards of a similar price range. And it's not as cut and dry as this, because sometimes a Pokemon with a higher population, there will be more demand for that because it's a more favoured Pokemon, it's a more popular Pokemon. So it's not as cut as dry as simply saying, oh, this has got less population, so it's worth more money. It also depends on what the popularity and what the demand is for that card or that Pokemon. But it does help you figure out if you should be paying this kind of money for some of these cards.
So to wrap things up now, with everything that's been said today, collectors, little bit of advice from Shreddy, take it with a pinch of salt if you want. Not only do we have Gary Vee tweeting about Pokemon again, we have Logan Paul tweeting about Pokemon again, which I will cover in a future video. We also have Pokemon's 25th anniversary, which has got Katy Perry involved, who has a combined following on just Instagram and Twitter alone of 220 million. Never mind all the mainstream media, non-social media following she's got. She's involved in Pokemon this year. With all that attention, with it being the 25th anniversary of Pokemon, we are expecting, or I'm expecting, a lot of coverage and a lot of mainstream coverage for Pokemon going forward this year. I think the more mainstream attention we get, the more casuals, the more investors we're going to get coming into the hobby. Whether it's people wanting to relive the childhood, get nostalgic and collect those cards, whether it's people looking to invest, we're going to see Pokemon, or I think we're going to see Pokemon get a lot of attention this year. So collectors, if there's any cards that you're looking to get, my advice would be to buy them sooner rather than later. Of course, this video has just been my opinion. I could be completely wrong, and that's absolutely fine. If you think I'm wrong, let me know down in the comments below. Gary Vee's advice could go completely unnoticed. He could tank the market, and we could all have to swap from Pokemon to Digimon, or maybe Star Wars Pogs. I used to collect them when I was a kid. Remember the folder you used to put little Pogs in? Who remembers them? Let me know down below. Either way, I do hope this video has given you some insight and a different viewpoint to think about, you know, what you're seeing online. And the main point I wanted to cover in this video was to be aware of what's going on out there outside of just the Pokemon bubble. Be aware of what's going on in the wider market and in the wider world. So many things out there can affect the market, and even if you don't understand something or don't like a particular person, you shouldn't just write them off completely and act as if, well, that's not going to matter, that doesn't affect, you know, me, or that doesn't affect the hobby or whatever. Just, you know, be more mindful and be aware that there's a lot of things out there that can affect the hobby and that can affect the prices of our beloved Pokemon cards. If you have took any value from today's video, then force push that thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button. Lately I have been making more Star Wars videos, but I am still going to be uploading Pokemon videos to the channel, so hit the subscribe button to be notified of them. Let me know what video you would like to see me make next. Do you want to see me talking about Logan Paul's latest tweet, re-entering the Pokemon market, basically predicting that there's going to be a spike in prices, just like Gary Vee has? He's also said about doing another box break. Do you want to see me do a video covering this and what it means, or would you rather see me do a video recapping the 2020 Pokemon card market and recapping the prices of what we saw in 2020? Let me know down in the comments below. You can follow me on social media. I'm most active on Instagram. The link for that is also down in the description box below. But until next time, remember that Pokemon card collecting ain't no gimmick, it's a lifestyle.